Hi there, and welcome to Dan Has Fun with me, Daniel, back by popular demand. EU4. We're going to play as a one province miner, but not be in the Holy Roman Empire this time. We've had two previous runs on the channel, one as Bologna, and then one as, East Frisia. We are going to pick, I would suggest, a much more volatile start. So we're going to play as the one province miner of Ragusa. So, a few things we should talk about just before we get into it, and if you do want to skip ahead and you don't want to listen to kind of how this country or nation works, I understand. That's perfectly okay. But let's talk a little bit about Ragusa and what it is and what it does. We are a republic, which I would say is typically preferential over a monarchy, albeit our rector is a 350. And what that means, practically speaking, is that he's really good at diplomacy, and that's probably the least important monarch skill at the start of the game. That 0 in military is absolutely horrendous, but we don't have enough in admin for me to justify focusing on either of them. So I'm going to leave it as it is. We don't really make enough money to have an advisor off the get-go. Not a huge surprise. We're a one province miner. Government-wise, like I said, we're a republic. We do get the bonus of having Croatian culture already accepted. Not that we have any, but that will be helpful for our future endeavours. Diplomatically, we only had 3 options for who we could make our rivals, so I just did it before the video even starts. We have Albania, Serbia, and Herzegovina. We'll talk a bit about the surrounding area afterwards. We are guaranteed by the Ottomans. Thank goodness. This gives us a little bit of manoeuvring possibility, but realistically, playing as Ragusa, there's a good chance you're restarting really early on. Depends how we get on. We'll see what happens. We're at least a financially somewhat stable nation. Pretty unremarkable for one province miner. We have 14 development in our one province, which is fine. It's not amazing, but it's fine. Standard trade fair, standard tech. Our ideas kind of suck. We don't have any idea that gives us greater discipline or greater land troop morale. It's going to be a rough one. So our traditions start us with more trade efficiency and trade power abroad, which is basically pointless at the start of the game. Not great. None of this is very good, in all honesty. I mean, more tax modified. If this was the first idea, it'd be okay. But by the time you get into this time period, 10% tax is nothing. Big sad. We do have some interesting Ragusan missions, but realistically, the only one that we really would think about is something that gives us, say, like permanent separatism bonuses. But expelling the Italians, I don't see that happening anytime soon. We do have some tag switching opportunities at least, and anybody that knows me knows that I love to switch tags of a country during the game if I can, and we have a few options. I guess it's because we are technically in the Latin culture group that we can form Italy, but that feels very strange. Dalmatia and Croatia are both very, very interesting options, and Dalmatia we might be able to do quite early. We shall see. I won't spoil too much. This screen's got nothing going on. We are Catholic, which, when we talk about the surroundings in a moment, super important. And we can get 2 more units off the get-go. That's not too bad. I didn't do this early on, but let's seize land, because that's always the correct first decision to do. And then we're just going to do what I always do, and we find, if I can find them, the choices that just give us a benefit to the equilibrium and nothing else, other than just giving them some. There you go. So oversight by the clergy. That's the one we're looking for. Right of council. And it's funny, as soon as you start recording something, your eyes stop working. It's free enterprise. So by default, their equilibriums are going to be nearly 50%. We'll try and pump these up. I mean, the burgers are already over 50. Is there anything else in here we would really, really want? This is tempting because we probably won't have to pay much a lot of the time to increase our stability. That's one big advantage of being a republic, but we're only at 0, so I don't think so right now. I think we do church sanctuaries. That is perfectly fine. Do we want to fund theological studies? Nah, I'm not super excited about it, to be honest. Then the other option is clerical education, which is fine. It makes your reform progress grow quicker, but you know what? I'd almost never click it, so let's just turn it on. They have such low influence, I'm not worried about it on that side of things. We can't do nobility and officer corps, or I would 100% do so. Can't do it currently. We do not want to pick anything that says estates can pursue agendas at any time. That would be not good. Just because we don't want to get into a cycle of constantly failing them and having penalties, which I'm okay with not having. Prestige decay, I mean, that should be fine. We don't need to do nobility force, that's okay. I don't think we need anything else in there. And as for the burgers, exempt from seas land, yeah, we're not giving you that advantage, that is for sure. We don't want more expensive everything. Private trade fleets is fine. We have to be a little bit careful though with the burgers because their influence already starts off so high. So I tend to not really pick a huge amount. Yeah, no, I think we're going to be okay at this point. We don't need any of this. Burger bookkeeping is... I mean, it's not bad, is it? Okay, we'll do that, but we're giving you nothing else, because if you start getting to 80% influence, bad things are probably going to happen. Okay, so that's a lot of the early bump talked about. We're only going to talk about the outside environment a little bit, and then we'll get into it. Before I do that, though, I've brought this back. I've got all the DLC because I bought it on the Steam Summer Sale because it's far cheaper than doing the subscription model. So if you're curious, we are out to date. It has had the knock-on effect where this game seems to be quite unstable compared to before. So we are definitely not playing Iron Man mode. But we do have all the DLC available to us, and I assume it's going to be all it is because the U5 is coming out in, what, November, I think, of 2025? So, cool. As a result, please do support this run. Like, I brought it back because of requests, so anything that helps the algorithm, commenting, liking the video, sharing it, you know, all those things would be greatly appreciated. Outside environment. So, there's an interesting religious split in this part of the world in 1444. We're Catholic, which is preferable. However, Herzegovina and Serbia and Wallachia, but I mean they're further away, they're all Orthodox, so they're going to have a hard time making friends. They'll probably become friends with each other, but that's about it. Venice is pretty scary for us. They start only with 18,000 troops, but they would come in and crush us in a heartbeat. So luckily, that's where the Ottoman protection really comes to the fore, but the Ottomans will almost certainly attack Venice at some point in the near future, and we're hoping that we might be able to take advantage of that event happening, and while they're being squashed, we might be able to come in and take these two provinces, because these are the two I think we really want. Yeah. The province of Cattaro is technically in a different state. We still like it, but it's not as critical. These two are, and they're a reasonable development, but they're not super sexy. Beyond that, we're hoping that Croatia breaks away from Hungary. Realistically, the only way that might happen is if Poland attacks Hungary, but we need to be allied with one of them. It is incredibly unlikely that we're going to be allied to the Ottomans, even though they guaranteed us. It's only a matter of time before they break that and want to attack us. So we need to be allied with preferably Poland, because Hungary has the chance of being a junior partner to Austria. And we also want to ally Austria because we want to try and sneak back into the Holy Roman Empire. Just because A, it'll protect us against the Ottomans when they invariably hate us, and B, when the middle of Italy falls out of the Holy Roman Empire, we can attack this area without having to worry about being backstabbed, hopefully by somebody in the HRE. That's my hope. Now, in reality, we're probably not going to be anywhere near close to that, but that's kind of my initial thoughts. So, let's quickly get our force up to 7. We're going to use infantry because it's the cheapest. We can't even afford a general to start because we have such an incredibly bad leader for military, which is really sad. If he had even just 1 point in military, we would be able to afford a general, but we can't. So we can't do what I normally do and then just immediately start, improving them by just having them run and train, all those things. We do start with a navy, kind of. So we start with 3 galleys, 4 transports, and 4 trade ships. We're going to lose navally to literally everybody around us right now. So the only thing we're keeping are the light trade ships. We're going to have them return to port during war. And go to Constantinople, why not? Our merchants, we have 3 of them. One of them is collecting in the Ragusan trade node, which is pretty terrible, to be honest. Venetian trade node's great. Constantinople trade node is great. We're in the middle, and it kind of sucks. So that's another priority. Can we get our trade node to be in Venice at some point? That would be excellent. But what it means is we're pushing money from Constantinople, and we have a third person who's just twiddling his thumb, picking his butt. Is it because we can't reach anywhere else? We can reach Alexandria, which does go straight in here, so let's do that. There you go, Mr. Lucari. Not sure why the game didn't automatically pick that, but it's fine, whatever. And then we have to make a decision of who we're going to try and butter up to. I already talked about who I would prefer, but everybody hates us at the start of the game to at least some degree. So what we're going to probably do is, because Austria might ally us because they noticed that we're being threatened by the Ottomans. So we're going to try and butter them up. Poland doesn't care that the Ottomans is threatening to us. Hungary does, but I'm not sure how fantastic it is. If I can get Poland over Hungary, you're obviously going to go for Poland literally every single time. But we shall see. There's no point going for Naples because of a junior partner. And if we're trying to be friends with Austria, being friends with Bohemia doesn't make any sense. France doesn't care that the Ottomans are scary either. And yeah, the Ottomans will never ally us. It's just not going to happen. So we'll try Poland. We're not even going to try putting claims on anybody straight away, which is pretty rare for a game that I play. Let's get the speed up and unpause. I think, we're about 13, 14 minutes in. For me, that's pretty good. Byzantium has gone with being open to the west. Cool. That won't matter because they're going to get curb stomped very soon. I mean, that's almost guaranteed. I don't think I've ever seen the AI successfully defend Byzantium for more than a handful of years beyond when they first get attacked. I think I've seen one game where they got down to just Constantinople. Ottomans didn't eat all of it, but then just obviously ate it the next time around. So that's not really much of a win. Just out of curiosity, yeah, nobody allies still. We're just not a very attractive prospect. And, I mean, it makes sense. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by big, scary options. Wallachia is being defended by the Ottomans. That's interesting. Yeah, Mehmed is a militarist. That's interesting. What's he interested in going after? Not us straight away, at least, but... yeah, Sweden's upset. That's kind of how things go. Albania's had their guaranteed defense by Serbia. That's cute. They already hate us. That's a good start. Realistically, how likely are we going to be? Yeah, it's just not happening. I guess what we should also do is change our attitude to threatened. We can manually do that. Make sure I'm set neutral to Croatia, because I don't want them to actively be hostile to us, at least not yet. I don't think we can make many other saves. So yeah, we just have to wait at the start of this game just a little bit, just to see if anybody will start to like the cut of our jib. And if not, we'll then just have to tread a little bit delicately. I guess we didn't talk about the factions either. So this nation has 3 factions: aristocrats, traders, and the guilds. What you really need to know is that most of the time it's going to be the aristocrats in control. They give you a slight morale increase and some more sailors. But what happens is, as war happens and you accumulate overextension from taking land, the guilds typically take over, which makes things cheaper, but you also get less manpower. The traders also exist, but they very seldom come up for me because I don't usually prioritize naval tradition. It's not a crazy interesting mechanic, but at least I wanted to point out it was there, because otherwise somebody would be like, what's that symbol down there? That's different. It is. It's just not very interesting. Oh yeah, we are accumulating things, so I'm going to have to do this, aren't I? Get that done. 575. Get a general. You are horrendous, but it's fine. Start drilling. The sooner we can get drilling in motion and get our army professionalism up, the better. We're even going to go to speed 4. In terms of the Holy Roman Empire, to join it, we have to be at relations of 107, and our capital needs to be connected to the empire. So right now that's not going to happen, but you can see we're not that far away. But yeah, looking at this, Austria's not going to ally us immediately, so at least we can say we tried. Poland is not interested, so we're going to have to be less ambitious. Who will give us some type of alliance off the get-go? Who won't just immediately get crushed? Something I still wish they did and they never did do. On this screen, the level of how close they are to allying you should be color-coded. So it shouldn't just be they won't, therefore it's red. It should be, you know, like, hey, they're really close. Maybe it's a light red versus they will hate you for the rest of time. Be dark red. Instead, you have to hover over everything. That's like a bit of a lemon. The Pope could be an interesting option to ally, but I don't think they'll be that inclined. Yeah, no, they won't. Milan, maybe? And they accept that I'm being threatened by Venice. Let's check who hates who, first of all, too. So Venice, yeah, rival to Milan, Byzantium, and the Papacy. The Papacy don't hate Milan. Who are they allied with? A load of nobodies. Same with Milan. But we need people who can get to us. Genoa is a really dangerous ally because of their land over here. Florence is allied to Albania, so I don't see them being a very good choice. I think we're going to try and get Milan on board at least. Poland clearly isn't that interested, so let's try and get at least one claim for territory down. I'm going to say we start here before they can get an ally in Herzegovina. Herzegovina, I'm not sure which one's technically correct, but I'm sure they're both close enough. And you can see that Venice has already put a claim on us. The only reason why they won't attack us is thanks to the Ottomans defending us with a guarantee. If they didn't have that, I think this start would be not impossible, but it would be pretty close to it. Cardinal seats, we'd love to get one, but let's be real, it's probably not happening. How much am I going to need to get your claim? Is it just 20 because we're not in the HRE? Yes, it is. Okay, perfect. That drill is at the devil. Guild restriction on salt. That would be... I don't think that's too bad. I think we can say our guilds need to be strong. And we'll get a little bit of local unrest, but we'll get more production. I think that'll be A-okay. What even is our unrest base? Oh yeah, miles in there, we're fine. Oh, a free base tax too, you'd love to see that. And speaking of development, while we have 100 Republican tradition, let's get our stability up to +1. Which I think is the bare. I'd love to be at +3, and you certainly can quite easily as a Republic, but we're not going to pay to do it. Not in these shoes. Oh, there's France attacking England. Regular event. And I think after this month we will stop drilling. Not because we're capped, but because we probably want to attack Herzegovina while we can. Brilliant government, you say? Extremely efficient. We can get a little bit of money, a little bit of prestige, or a tiny bit more money because our leader is Midas touched. I'm going to take the prestige because it'll make us better in combat. Not by a ton, but every little helps, right? Okay, so Poland did do the relationship event with Lithuania. I played one game offline like a few months ago just for fun. I'm trying to think who I played as. I think it was Regensburg. And that event did not happen. They stayed split, and well, the game ended up with no Muscovy or Lithuania very quickly. It was kind of surprising. I didn't do it, but it's pretty rare to see them split, although I have found in the last couple of years with updates it's been a bit more common, so maybe they intentionally made it more common. I don't know. Do also know both of Herzegovina's provinces are mountains. So we need to wait until we have for sure got full morale. Because even though we have more troops than them, it's still going to suck. Serbia and Cilia allied to Bosnia. That's not a huge surprise. Serbia's going to get absolutely wrecked when the Ottomans attack Byzantium. I think I'm just going to get a claim on something in Venice, just in case. They've attacked Dulkadur. Oh, well, Dulkadur's getting attacked on multiple fronts, so that's not going to work for them. They're going to be toast real soon. Oh, still coughing up a storm, so I'm glad I got that muted in time. We need one more month to get our morale up to where it needs to be. Speaking of morale, can I ally Milan yet? I should wait until I can ally them, then go to war, I guess. Just in case they get pissy afterwards. There you go, at least I have an alliance to somebody. And we want to declare war on... they're allied to Wallachia now. Am I that worried by that? If I go in, immediately curb stomp Herzegovina, they would have the same number of troops as me. This kind of stinks. Especially because nobody else is going to jump into Wallachia, but I think we have to go anyway. Otherwise, we're just going to sit here and be sitting ducks. I think we have to go and attack you immediately, turn the speed down. And we have to try and smash you now while we can. That was a stack wipe. Here's the problem. we're going to get the -2 penalty because this is a mountain. How am I doing financially? Terribly. So... I wonder if it'll take them a long time to get through. It's going to suck, but I think we build a couple more infantry and just eat the fact we're going to have an expensive problem. Interesting. So Moldavia became a March of Hungary. Okay. Cool, I guess. Not sure if that's a good or a bad thing for us. Might guarantee that Poland and Hungary end up attacking each other at some point. Which I guess is a good thing. Haven't seen any Wallachian troops yet. So that's a good thing for sure. I'm hoping they just can't get through. Because I can't imagine Hungary loves Wallachia. And the Ottomans definitely, even though they're guaranteeing them, probably don't love them. They do have a general now. It's pretty good. Oh, Naples is becoming independent. That's interesting. Okay. Can I smack you and then turn around? Because I want to take you down before you start growing. Yes, again, it'll be a mountain penalty for us, but I think that's still fine. Then what we'll do, once you guys switch back, I'm going to take the 2k stack and occupy that province. That way they can't keep building troops. Yeah, we're going to start losing money hand over fist, but I guess if we loot these provinces, we'll get some money out of it. It's kind of like keying your own future car, but we need money now, unfortunately. Yeah, still no sign of Wallachia, so I don't think they can make it through, and I'm not that worried about going after them. I mean, I will once we occupy this, but... yeah, we can't get through here or here. I guess we should do something with this diplomat. Obviously, everybody hates us right now because we're at war, so they will not agree to an alliance. But who's pretty close otherwise? Platinum, Munich. I mean, Naples is an interesting temporary choice. If we can ally Naples, I think that'll be pretty useful early game. Let's see if we can do it. I turn the speed back up to 4, because Wallachia just seems to be sleeping. They're very busy dealing with vampires. This is an awful start, though. I have tried to play offline as Wallachia a couple of times historically, and it's miserable. Because you have no nation adjacent to you that gives you anything to go on. That's bad news too. I just saw that the Ottomans are backing the independence of Transoxiana. We don't really want that because we don't want them to grow big and be allies with each other. But there's not much we can do about it. And we're one province minor. We can suck eggs, I think. You will let us through. You will, you won't. You will, but we can't get there. We can get our 1 claim. Which one's more expensive? 9 development. There you go. And we want to bring back that diplomat and say, hey, can we get through, please, Bosnia? Thanks muchly. Start moving that way. And then we're going to ask the exact same question of Hungary and say thank you very much when they agree. We're going to merge these stacks together. Yeah, Empress is going the way of the dodo. They're not even allied to anybody, so they are ghost toast. And Targovishte is a level 1 capital fort on a farmland. So that's awesome. Oh, that is not so awesome. Are you grasslands? You are. I'd much rather have attacked them there. That's a fantastic leader, though. We're going to get the -1 penalty for the river, but that's fine. It's better than getting that and the hill penalty. Sheer numbers should get us through this. And we have slightly better morale. Neat. I don't know which of the 2 locations with a castle are going to go to, but it doesn't really matter either way. We lost 4 ducats. I mean, that's going to be peanuts in the grand scheme of things. Okay, going to Buzau, which I cannot reach, so I guess that makes sense. Do this. And do that, because that's split weirdly. You 2 can merge. You start occupying that province. You can't grow more troops from it. They're probably going to flee all around this way. If they want to do that and waste their time, I am A-okay with that. Again, we'll go up to speed 4. They are going to get some troops periodically, but it's not that big a deal. Yeah, there are their troops. You're going to come this way? I do not want to, so go away. That's rude. They're actually going to outnumber us slightly at the moment, which is stinky, but I'm guessing you're not going to peace out. What will you peace out with? There's no way you're going to give us all your stuff, so we're going to have to keep going. Turn the speed back down. When are you joining? The 31st? Will you even live that long? Nope. Well, this is bad news. So, rather than deal with that, let's just say 8, 7, which is the most likely one to get taken by somebody. I think we'd rather take home. Let's do that. Give me some cash. I actually don't want to force their religion. Will you let me humiliate you? Not quite. And by which I mean not at all. I would love to get the humiliation if they'll give it, though, because then I can say we've completed that part of it. Okay, they will. Cool. There is a splendid reason for doing that. So do that. Give me one of your provinces so I don't have all my stuff ruined by Wallachia. Start coring Hum. Yeah, the reason why I wanted to do that is in the Age of Discovery, if you humiliate a rival, you start getting more splendor. More sugar packets for your tea. And conveniently, you stacked wipes on people that I couldn't afford to maintain anyway. So, I mean, there's that. Not the ideal start, but better than a kick in the pants. You're not that excited to ally me. I thought you'd be far more interested. Flip Venice to threatened. You're probably really unstable. You are, so it's going to flip you to 100% autonomy. Give me the Diplo power, I might as well do something. It's not useful, but better than nothing. Start drilling again. And we need to pick a place to put our diplomat, but we'll do that next episode. So, hopefully you're excited to see EU4 come back. And again, if you are, please do let me know. YouTube be doing YouTube things lately and just kind of massacring everybody's videos. So, appreciate the help and appreciate you coming over and watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.